Tabacle, time to put your pickle in a try. Get it to tackle, like Mary, you are going to use your foot kick off tackle. When the was so easy on me body, and when it got
Very good man, them day.
Welcome. What the God man them there. Welcome, man from Moran Point to Negril. This is the mailbox, May 27, 2026. Kevin Bailey here. Courtney is here as well. Now we're looking at being single as a Christian man. Being single as a Christian man. Many Christian men face unique challenges while being single, often grappling with societal expectations, personal growth, and the dynamics of dating within their faith community. What are some of the challenges faced by the single Christian men? Dating dynamics. A significant discussion among Christian men revolves around their dating choices. Many men find themselves pursuing women who may not be interested or aligned with their spiritual values. This can lead to feelings of frustration and unfulfillment. Societal expectations. The changing landscape of masculinity and relationships has also impacted single men. Research indicates a decline in traditional masculine traits, which can affect how men perceive their roles in relationships. Many young men feel overwhelmed by the expectations and may struggle to understand what women desire from them. Then, biblical perspective on singleness. From a biblical standpoint, singleness is viewed as a gift. The Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 7 suggests that being single allows for undivided devotion to the Lord, enabling individuals to focus on their spiritual growth without the distractions that come with marriage. This perspective encourages men to embrace their singleness as an opportunity for personal and spiritual development. For single Christian men, the journey can be complex, but it is also filled with potential for growth and fulfillment by reflecting on their choices, embracing their current status, and preparing themselves for future relationships. They can navigate this phase of life with purpose and intention. Engaging in community, seeking mentorship, and focusing on spiritual development can also provide valuable support during this time. This is the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men, and it's aired every Wednesday unless it's a holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101, the family station. It's the mailbox. I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host, right here.
Hey, good afternoon, www.org Love 101. Indeed, I'm Courtney Morrison here, sitting in with my co-host. We have been co-hosting this program for 13 years. And to all our listeners, thanks for making it Love 101 and making it your station of choice. We're talking about being single as a Christian man. Is that possible? Today we'll be having a conversation with special guest, Mr. Horace Palmer, trained mentor and resource person at TLC, that's Transform Life Church, as he shares on how single men can maintain their purity and guard their hearts in a highly secularized society. So stay tuned. We have a program for you today.
So true, Courtney. And Horace Palmer, a great friend of mine, almost like family, and one that I have respected over the years as a man of integrity. And he has a lot to share about this journey of being single as a Christian man. So he's trained mentor, resource person. He's at Transform Life Church, and Horace is a born-again Christian who has faithfully served the Lord for more than 40 years. That's right, more than 40 years. He's actively involved in his local church, serving in both the youth ministry and missions ministry. Professionally, he's an accountant and real estate salesman, bringing dedication, integrity, and excellence to his career and ministry alike.
In other words, single Christian women who are listening in him have money. But indeed, man, oh man, just a reminder, we want to hear from you today. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM. Remember, you can leave your comments via WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 and 876-968-8328. We're also live on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica.
That's right. And we say, ladies, what Una say. So this is how you can participate, ladies. You know, we really can't do without you. And so we want you to answer this question. What do you think single men can do to maintain their purity and guard their hearts in a highly secularized society? What do you think that single men can do to maintain their purity and guard their hearts in a highly secularized society? You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube. Females, remember, no calls or voice notes are allowed. Encourage the man them to call, encourage the man them to send in a voice note, but you can participate as we have shared and by answering that question on WhatsApp, Facebook, or YouTube. Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, a long time. We
Yeah.
know Horace from when we were a
Yes.
little boy. And we had hair on it, right?
Yeah.
And before this,
No.
the black hair started turning gray. I remember the days of Horace and Peter MacDonald
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
did
Dub
Christianity.
poetry.
Is what they upon me mind. Christianity make me walk, conspiracy worldwide Christianity.
Wow. Yeah, a long time that, man. Eh?
Very
Easy
long
years.
time. Sunbeat, I don't know how many persons listening would know what Sunbeat is. Sunbeat was what used to occur. Kevin was a part of that program too, before we had fun in the sun. So
Yeah.
it was Sunbeat. Most people don't know these things,
No.
but they were days
Way
that
back.
were, you know, when you're young and think you're invincible and invulnerable and nothing can hurt or harm you. Kevin still have a bit of that, you know. Him still come on stage and lift him knees them and sing and dub poet, you know. Trust me, them dub poet.
No.
Good man.
Brittany, it has been a journey. When you think of it, you know, the impact of organizations like Youth for Christ, ISCF, Interschool Christian Fellowship, and UCCF, University and Colleges Christian Fellowship, and to see men like you, Courtney, still going on, men like Horace, for over 40 years,
Yes.
and being a man in a society where there are so many distractions and attractions, I think it's gonna be a great time. We want to be
It is.
discussing singleness and how does a man deal with all of that. It's gonna be very interesting, Courtney.
So welcome to the program, Horace. It's good to have you on with us. A long time. We did a program with you some years ago. It's good to have you back on as you continue to share and encourage our men how to walk with pure hearts and to maintain their integrity. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me good and clear?
Yes,
Okay.
greetings,
Excellent.
Horace.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
Greetings. Monday.
Monday. So,
Yes,
Horace,
Thank you for the invitation and the encouragement as you brought me on the program again.
no,
Great to have
it's
you,
our
man.
pleasure.
It's good
Oh,
to have
pleasure.
friends in high places, you know, like Kevin Bailey and Courtney. So I get invited to be on national radio, you know. Bless God.
Yeah, that's why I keep company with Courtney. And you have to know
Yes,
who you
indeed.
spend time with, right? So, hey, Horace,
You are the sum total of your friends, you know. Yeah,
I
yeah.
tell you. So,
Gentlemen.
because we know how time goes, we want to ask you at the beginning here, the outset.
Yes, sir.
Is the church doing enough to cater to the needs of single Christian men? Yea or nay, depending on your answer, what are the reasons? A few reasons. Yeah.
Yes and no. It's both answers, right? For some, for instance, I can speak of Transform Life Church. They have a very active male men's group, and the Mighty Men we are called, and we meet, every second Friday in the month. And so the camaraderie and the iron sharpening iron is happening there. But what we want to see is more of it happening, right? More of this encouragement, of men in their faith, and as they grow in their faith, they will, just be in purpose for what the Lord wants them to do in this season. I must say quickly that I was encouraged. I was invited to speak at another church group, and they invited to speak on singleness, and I was glad, and I encouraged those two elders who initiated the singles retreat, and I just want to commend them, and I want to big up Lindsay Gospel Hall for, being innovative and just responding to the time, and
Yes.
Facilitating this singles retreat. It was good. It was a good time. Although the representation for the men was, on the poor side, but it's a start.
We want to be on TLC as well, because on the 20th of June, they're having something called Montauk. Yeah, at the Ambassadors on the 20th of June. Yeah.
Looking forward to that. It's going to be a great,
anything that empowers and encourages our men. Excellent stuff.
Indeed.
So
Horace.
Yeah, go ahead, Courtney.
We're coming from far back, and we really want to,
far.
as you say, far. When I did the them say, but I don't know how I for that knee England grew up to a head. But
no, we say when JOS boss is to
we want to. It is something that we just want to say. Your church is not doing enough. What you suppose the church can do to help? You say yes and no to ensure that we help.
It's a challenge. When it comes to church, because the ratio, and it happens across a lot of churches. The ratio of males to female, it's you have more women in church, so you tend to cater for who you have, to maintain your flock. But at the same time, you have some men coming in, and they are, their needs need to be heard, especially in this generation. Even from our time in the court, when we were from a different generation, where we came in off the road and we were determined to, pick out the course. A lot of people I know, especially younger men now, they are weighing up different odds, and some of them are in, but they're not fully in. So we need to, as leaders in the church, we need to understand where the men are now, and the distractions, as you said, I like how you guys put it in a nice, sensitive way, in a highly sexualized society, More like a highly sexualized society, where images are out there. And we know men respond to images,
Yes.
So it's not that the church must run and counter everything, but the church just needs to cater and facilitate activities that can.
And Horace, we're
I give a good example. World Cup football.
Horace,
who wants to watch part of the World Cup?
Horace, stick up
sir.
in there. We're gonna come back to you, but we're gonna take our first break, and then when we come back, we're gonna allow you to go through, because we want to listen up Kevin and Courtney in the place of very special guest, Horace Palmer. We take our first break, go to studio, and we'll be right back after this.
This is Love 101 FM, the family station. It's 5:45.
At a time when many had lost confidence in the JCF and questioned whether their true transformation was even possible, when some believed that simple change in name from force to service would suffice, this administration, this minister held steadfast to a new transformation vision. Since November 2022, when the Firearm Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act came into effect, there has been a steady increase in the recovery of firearms. We are creating a professional culture, one that respects the dignity and rights of every Jamaican. We are building a Jamaica consular force that is institutionally resilient, ready to meet the future, and that future is emerging.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Get your tickets now. Don't miss Come Alive, a national call to worship this Emancipation Day, August 1, 2026.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Prices are as follows. General admission $7,000, VIP $22,000, and VVIP $32,000. Secure your tickets early and be part of a powerful night of worship, music, and impact.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Start your day informed, alert, and ahead of the curve. Join us at 6:30 a.m. for the latest breaking news, weather updates, and everything you need to know. Clear, concise, connected. It's your morning news right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. On Mondays, the morning news is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. Kevin and Courtney in the house. We are live on Love 101. We're also live on Facebook and the YouTube. We are also live on TikTok at Love 101 FM. We are talking with Mr. Horace Palmer. He is a trained mentor and resource person at the Transform Life Church. And he's here with us as we talk about living single as a Christian man, maintaining integrity and walking in purity. Before we went on the break, he was trying to tell us about the highly secularized world and the images out there. And he started to mention football and World Cup. Or is he can't play football though? Anyway, tell us a bit of, just continue from where you left off.
You know, when you reach a certain stage, you kick the ball around, but you're more of a fan, you know, in the crowd, you know, watching, you know. Now, Courtney, man, we get to a big screen TV, man, and the drinks out and the popcorn, you know. Or watch the match. And have some fellowship. That's what I mean, you know. Fellowship, you know, for the football. And it's a good time because World Cup only happens every 4 years, you know. So this is a good time. I've seen it done at other churches, and which is a good thing, you know, and it draws the men out. So something that is, even some men who not into football like that, you know, they come out just for the fellowship, you know, and even if it's just a free food, we come out and eat and drink and, you know, have good fellowship. And men want that. Men want that safe place where you can come and you can just gather.
Definitely. Tell us, Horace, want to know a little bit about your upbringing, you know, when you were much younger, before you became this intelligent, sophisticated, focused Christian and on mission and purpose. Where were you born? What was it like for you growing up? Did you come to the earth with gold spoon in your mouth? Was it challenging? Tell us a little bit about your formative years, Horace.
Not a gold spoon, maybe silver spoon, you know. I'm joking. But no. Actually, it's interesting you say where I was born. I was born in England, you know, but the ship returned with us, you know. So we ended up back in Jamaica. Grew up in Jamaica all my life, you know. Unlike Courtney, I went to the great institution up by Redders Road, all right? And those were my formative years, you know. I got saved as a born again believer during my late teenage years, right? And I was always in Sunday school, and in Sunday school I heard the message many times, you know. But it's when I went to camp, all right, and I saw the fellowship right? And at the time, I was at Marvel Gospel Hall, and I saw the fellowship amongst the brothers there, and especially the brothers, you know, because they were real men. And this is one of the things that cemented my faith, you know. We play football. I mean, the man them tackle hard, you know. But when I'm done, they say, you know, hush, I'll pick you up back again, you know. And then you're in praise and worship with the same men, right?
Yes.
Slide tackle you and kick you down, you know. But at the same time, I saw real brothers and men in action, serving the Lord, and you know, and just enjoying the fullness of life. Put it that way, you know. So I grew up like that, you know. Incidentally, I grew up mainly with my father, right? Because my mother was overseas. I spent most of my formative years with my father, but I had an extended family around me. I had aunts,
Okay.
I had lovely big sister who look after me, you know. I have younger siblings, you know, my big brother. So I was protected. I was the middle child, put it that way, you know. So I have older or younger, you know. So, you know, when you're the middle child, you're the free-spirited one, you know. So you get to explore, do all of the things. During school days as well, I was in cadet. So I got a little bit of discipline from being in the cadet. And it carried me throughout my life, you know. So not just my Christian life, but the discipline of just my surroundings that I had, you know. Went to church, I had godly mentors, men who would just teach me and encourage me in the faith. I was at school as cadet. You know, some of those cadets are still my good friends after how many years of us leaving school. 40 years ago, we leave school. So we had a lot of, you know, friendship like that. Yeah.
Great.
That was my early days.
Yeah.
Any challenges growing up? You know, you became Christian, you said, in your late teens. And
Yeah.
did you envisage being where you are today? We were talking before you come on here about you and Peter McDonald. Christianity is what they call women. We want to hear more about your transformation and how you got to where you are now.
Right. In my early days, when I became a believer, Peter Mac was one of my best friend, you know. We travel a lot. I mean, to dub poetry. And it's funny, I remember Youth for Christ is where Youth for Christ busway, you know.
Yes.
Dunbar was one of the was working at Youth for Christ. And she said, no man, them guys they can, you know, go. And she busted straight to Genesis, you know. Jade, you know, it's like one of our big, you know, it's like we did from church activity at our local church straight to Genesis, you know. And when we go in, we draw the crowd in. But because the good thing what we had at Marvel at the time was good group fellowship. And that I find kept me grounded in the faith. You're going out as a group. So I wasn't so much out in the world when I got there. I was amongst Christian friends. We go beach together. We go picnics. We went to movies. We went to Youth for Christ meetings. You know, when they had the Saturday evening Youth for Christ thing. And them days we never drive. We take bus, you know.
Yeah.
I remember I link up with the guys from Arlene Garden, from the other churches. And we go Holy Cross Church, and they had the St. Andrew Youth for Christ. And we had that wonderful fellowship, you know. And that carried me. That carried me in my youthful days, you know. In my young early days when I started working, that's the time when I went away to study. And I actually was away for 10 years. So during those 10 years, some of my friends went overseas. But as soon as I went to foreign, I dropped straight into one church, you know, and I dropped in that church with a lot of old people too. So there's this expectation of me all the time, you know. I've always grew up with a sense of expectation, and I feel that that look up to caused me to stay grounded in the faith. And I had a lot of love around me when I went to England to study. A lot of the older Jamaicans were there from the Windrush generation. They were there to keep me on the straight and narrow, you know, put it that way. Yeah.
Right. Horace,
24 hours, you know, but I was there.
Horace, what would you say, you know, working with young Christian single men, and you've been one as well. If you were to identify 3 or 4 challenges that are peculiar to single Christian men, what would be those challenges that you're facing at this time?
All right. The challenge, I feel right now, especially in this generation, one of the big challenges is the circle who you socialize with. I know the world is becoming more antisocial. It's amazing how it's affecting the church. We are more social media, but we are antisocial. So we're not gathering as we used to gather before. We're not going out. Some people are going out, but they're going out with their cameras, you know. They're going out for the show. It's not that genuine going out, you know. So the first thing I would encourage, and I have a lot of my young sons in the faith, but I encourage them to guard their eyes, what you see, and the influence you have around you, you know, with your brethren them, your real brethren them, you know, what they are saying, because sometimes we repeat some things that we hear. So you have to be careful of the strength. And not that you must abandon all of your friends them who you got school with, and you know. Because I have good friends, you know, who are good worldlians them, you know. But you know when they look up to you when crisis happens, when they need a prayer, right? They always come back to you. But you must have that balance. More of your friends are believers than unbelievers, right? You must have, just like Jesus did, right? Judas was amongst the crew, you know, right? But we don't know where Judas' mind was, you know. But more of them were following Jesus than who were just in there for the money or for the fame or for the likes, you know. So you have to balance your life like that, you know? And God, what you watch, a lot of time we are alone, right? And the enemy can pick you up alone. You have late night TV. I always remember Kevin Bailey's story, you know, and Kevin tell it better than me, you know. Or you have to just cut off certain things and cut off the cables sometimes, you know. You can put the channels, you know? So those things, and hanging around people like Kevin Bailey help me as well, you know. So when people have an expectation of you, you just raise the bar. Yes, boy, imagine if I go down that line, Kevin would just beat me and not physically beat me, you know, but you know, you know, you have that expectation, and then you reach a certain age, you know, like me, you know, you know, people even see you at the supermarket.
Well, what's that certain age? What's that certain age?
It's like how Courtney goes about me have money, you know. I count other people's money. That's what accountants do. Count other people's money, all right? Right? You stop worrying about what a lot of people think about you because you've lived a lot of your life already, you know. It's more about your integrity and how you end the race, you know. And if you've got this far by faith, trust me, you can look back. I can look back in some of my life and see some of the near misses and the escape. Like I have some bully for Joseph escape where I have to run left my shirt, you know.
Yes.
Because I had God in mind. You know?
We want to hear more about that, you know. All right, so we want to hear more, but we're going to pause again. We're going to pause again for a second break. We need to hear about some of those Joseph story because you seem as if you're back to first life.
Indeed.
This box, Kevin and Courtney here with Horace Palmer, and we're talking about living life as a single Christian man in a highly secularized world. We're going to pay some bills. We'll soon come back.
My man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man. Man. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man.
This is Love 101 FM, the family station. It's 6 o'clock.
Get your tickets now. Don't miss Come Alive, a national call to worship this Emancipation Day, August 1, 2026.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Prices are as follows. General admission $7,000, VIP $22,000, and VVIP $32,000. Secure your tickets early and be part of a powerful night of worship, music, music, and impact.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the Mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite gospel station, Love 101 FM. Courtney and Kevin in the place, and our very special guest, brethren, man of God, man of integrity, Horace Palmer. We're having a conversation. Vanessa says single men can surround themselves with positive people who aim to please God and can hold them accountable in seeking to maintain their purity and guard their hearts in this highly secularized society. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Really appreciate your contribution. And Horace, Courtney was asking you, about your Josephic experiences. The big question is, how do you, a nice young man like you, nice handsome man with all this wonderful character, patient and kind and empathetic, how do you deal with girls, and especially so many girls at TLC, and how you deal with it so that you maintain your sexual purity? Talk to us, Horace.
We have some lovely ladies at TLC, man. They look good, dress good, everything wonderful. How I deal with it? They're my sisters. They are my sisters in the Lord, If I am so attracted, I would approach one, But I just believe that the Lord has me on a purpose for a season, all right? And I'm just completing the task that the Lord has given me. I feel like I'm a soldier on a mission, and I just need to complete. And the Lord will tell me when the battle is over, I want to settle down, and to, move on otherwise. But I as I said to you, Kevin, you are the one who realize, there were a lot of nice ladies, good, firm in the faith as well, serving the Lord, So I'm not spoiled for choice, in terms of seeing single females there, But as I say, you have to look at you first before you can offer yourself to somebody else, and know where you are, Don't go ahead of God, Too many of my brothers, have run ahead, and I'm bow to the sexual pressure, and then years later, and it's saddened my heart really, the divorce that I see amongst. And that is one of the things that I have a purpose in my heart, I say, God, we can't deal with that. And God know you can deal with it. And so God know what you can deal and you can't deal with, and the recovery. So God know. Allow me to go down that road there. But it is a reality that happens, and it's something that you have to guard against. God know what you can deal with, and how much years later before you recover. But I know me, and I know what other people will say I am. Some of the young people will probably even say I'm miserable, but it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. I'm not always Mr. Nice Guy all the time.
Horace.
You have to guard your heart. Yes, sir, Courtney.
We want to go back to Vanessa's what she said about accountability and surrounding yourself with positive people. Is accountability necessary? Is it important? How important is it? Accountability.
It is critical, my brother.
Talk to the men who are listening. Yes, talk to the young men who are listening.
Men out there, you have to have a man who can call you up, right? Or if something happens, you have to say, Virgin, this and this happened. What do you think? You have to have a man who say, boy, no man, a foolish is that. No man, run. You have to have a man like that. You can't say, Horace, no. Some people see me and I say, Horace, no, I don't do that. I've known a virgin of mine, good friend of mine, We've been good Christian virgin from a long time, Now I call him surname, but his name Kenneth, you know. He know himself, all right? But Kenneth will say, nah, Horace, if I have a young lady, all right, I'm gonna just go to that. And I care in Kenneth's presence. Kenneth will look for me and say, honestly, Horace, no one of you that. Right? Based on her behavior, Kenneth will say, none of me that. See, I have that. If it's even just one brethren like that, right? You have to have a brethren like that, you know. You know, like sometimes even the females as well too, you have to have mothers like that. You know, and women we say, boy, spirit not tech. You know, we know what they mean, you know. So you have to have accountability, not only brothers, but mature people around you, you know, who can advise you, you know. Because it's funny, in church, you get some good encouragement, right? But sometimes not everything good is good for you, right? So people in church will say, it's about time now, or it's about time now. But it's good encouragement, you know, but it's God's timing. And you might jump the gun and, you know, and do a good thing, but it's not good for you. So back to Vanessa's point about having the brethren around, you have to have men who have walked the road and understand. And even some men who have tripped up, you know, I said, boy, brethren, I've been down there. It's not nice. Turn and run, you know. And so you have to listen. But not every time we men listen to the advice. Sometimes, I experience it for myself, all right? And then we end up in a trouble. And sometimes we find that a lot of men, when you fall, it's hard to pick yourself up back again. Yeah, it's almost like you need a strong man around you. Say, you know, get up and move, you know. That's why when you go in combat, you know, as a soldier, you always have a body system, you know, where another brethren have your sixes, as them say, you know, have your back. Back you up and to draw you out of the battle line if you get wounded, you know. You have to have a brethren like that who will rescue you, you know, and keep you safe and safe. Yeah.
No, very, very important insights and encouragement there. Horace, do you come under pressure by Christian people in the church? You know, like say, Horace, why you wait so long for man? At time you get married now, look how much women in their church. And so how you deal with that and still serve the Lord, you know, when they point out so many women, they might tell you say 5 to 1, 6 to 1, and what happened to you? Is something wrong with you? How you deal with that?
Exactly. Sometimes, honestly, Kevin, sometimes for me, sometimes it hits you, you know. And I say, boy, and I lament to God, you know. I say, boy, God, something wrong with me. Why I can't maintain, you know, why I can't, you know, is it my upbringing? And you question yourself, you know. But I've been in the faith so long that the Lord always come back and remind me, you know, my grace is sufficient for you, you know. And I will, in due season, bless you, you know.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes you get encouragement out of the unusual sources. I remember I was ministering at a church out of town, right? And a little girl come to me, and I'm like a father figure to this little girl, you know. And girls are I don't call them mentoring, you know. You're just being father to them, you know. And little girl come to me, and a young lady drove up with me that Sunday to church, you know. And I was helping out with Sunday school up there. And a young lady drove up with me, you know. And the little girl keeps staring at this girl, you know, like, who is this girl? Who is this girl, you know? And then the following week when I went up, you know, she looked at me and said, Uncle, them call me, you know, Uncle, I'm glad you're not married, you know, right? Because you wouldn't have no time for us. I said, wow. It hit me hard, you know. Never forgot, you know. I'm glad you're not married because you wouldn't have no time for us. Which brings me to the point that when you're single, you know, you have time to care for those who are less cared for, right? In the church. I'm talking just simply in the church, you know. You can do more mentoring. I know I'm probably going off into something else. You can do more mentoring. You can care for those girls who don't have a father, those boys who don't have a father, you know. You can be the father to the fatherless. So when I come into church, I'm looking for that, you know. So you provide that safe space where you can, you know, encourage and encourage them in the faith and say, well, I'm doing it. I'm a single man, right? And I can live. You can live your life, But again, Mr. Kevin, the pressure is always there, and a lot of times when the pressure comes from within the church, you start looking at yourself. You start introspect, and you say, "Boy, what's wrong with me?" But after a while, you come to a recognition. If you know enough of the Word of God, and the Word of God is what anchors our faith. You have to know the Word for yourself. So our brothers out there, who's struggling, and you're listening to other people, listen to podcasts, read the Word for yourself, get the Word down in you, because at the midnight hour, when the temptation comes, right, and you're alone in the dark room, you have to remember the Word. You have to remember like what Joseph remembered. He said, how can I do this thing against God? And him run. So yeah, it's a word that anchors you, and it might sound cliche, but trust me, I've lived my life as a Christian man, and there are situations that encountered me, and it's a word that kept me, the word that I remember. And there's no two ways about it. It's just the word of God, the word of God, and the fellowship that you have with people around you, and the accountability of goodly people who have your best interest at heart.
Some people listening, Horace, may say, Paul said it, being single, can mind the things of the church. But some persons listening are saying, boy, I don't know if I can manage that. Consider singleness a gift, or what would you say about being single? Because as Paul said, there are some who can't manage that, so.
Yeah, man, that's true. And Paul was right? And Paul said, this is not a commandment, it's just some advice in my give. Paul was giving us some big brotherly advice, right? And sometimes when you have something immediate, right, in focus, you don't look for the gratification, the self-gratification now, because you have something else. It's almost like something is distracting you. So it's a good distraction, the work of the Lord. But in this season now, you have to recognize, Paul was, and I think when Paul wrote those words, the scripture in 1 Corinthians 7, listen, boy, according to this present crisis, I don't know what the crisis was really happening in Corinth at the time, but there was something happening. And he said, Paul was just giving his advice. He said, based on the situation are happening now, listen to me, I better not stay single. But that advice is not for everybody. Not for everybody at all. There are some people who are in some situations where it is better off that them get married, get the support, get the help, and those are the guys who are good, stay at home, put it that way, stay grounded in terms of raising children and family, and, go to the PTA and the football matches, and, be there as a cheer on, and then they realize that when you raise a family, you have to really be unselfish, right? So you're no longer about yourself. When you're single, you're really looking after self a lot first, right? When you're married, you take on a bigger responsibility than self. So you have to recognize that it comes with, a different level of, stewardship, I'll put it away. But when you're single, you can do more for the Lord and you can take more risk. I was saying to a group, you're more risk, you can take more risk. Go out there and travel more, on a on a family package,
So Horace, just for our listeners, you are single now. Do you think it's a permanent thing? Do you think your desire is to be single for the rest of your life, or this is a season and one day you hope to be married? Just for our listeners.
Yes. I kind of get a sense that the Lord want me to, get married eventually, right?
Yes.
And I'm waiting on Him for that, that go ahead, or that person, all right, for me to see her in the garden and approach her, and,
yes.
And be the right partner for her, So I kind of get that sense, because I've been single for a long time, Kevin, as you know, But
yes.
You have to know when you see your season is ending and you're approaching a new season, But
Yes, let's take our final break, Horace.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to the studio, then we'll be back, and then you can continue. Go to
This
the
is
studio.
Love 101 FM, the family station. It's 6:15.
I'm not allowed to go anywhere by myself. They're afraid I will escape.
See how my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
I'm only 13, but they said if I work harder, they will make me go back home.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security and Peace.
Get your tickets now. Don't miss Come Alive, a national call to worship this Emancipation Day, August 1, 2026.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Prices are as follows. General admission $7,000, VIP $22,000, and VVIP $32,000. Secure your tickets early and be part of a powerful night of worship, music, and impact.
Limited special offer tickets available now
At Love 101 FM, Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. You've been listening in. We hope if you have not, that you can always go back to YouTube, The Mailbox, Love 101, and listen to the program. We're talking to Mr. Horace Palmer, and with me is our co-host for the last 13 years, Mr. Kevin Bailey, counseling psychologist, big brother, mentor. Hey, everything, dub poet. Him at the boss. And we're talking with Horace, and before we went for the break, Kevin posed the question, is it that it's for a season that you are single? And you were telling us that you believe the Lord is saying marriage is on the horizon. And indeed, I'm sure that there are those who will say, yeah, we're happy if we hear that and thing. What would you say to our men who are also considering, they've been single for a long time and they're asking God when, how, maybe, why? What would you say to them while waiting? Or should they just bow to pressure, or should they just wait? What would you say to them?
Well, when I say while they're waiting, what to do, or what?
Mm-hmm.
What
to do while they're waiting?
Well, I think somebody wrote a book on that. It was, is it Pat Daly? Whoever we get her on the program. What? Or it was Grace for the Wait. What to do while you're waiting? It's really to get into the presence of the Lord and get into activity. I find that I'm a fairly busy person, right? And even as I got older, I joined the 5:30 club, where I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and go do my little stretches and have my devotion at that time. And I'm a morning person, TLC have 3 services, and I'm usually at the 7 a.m. Service, sitting down, So activities
That's true.
will keep you grounded, You need to have a good church, Some men are floating around and they don't really belong to a church. I want to encourage them to be committed, For some people, commitment is a bad word, but to be committed to your local church will help you with your accountability and will help you with mentoring as well, I know my pastors, my pastors know me, So if I'm doing something, I can, I have particular pastors who I can just text and say, I'm not here now, or I'm traveling, or even going to the country. I can text one of my particular pastors and I say, yeah, this, I have that good relationship with them, and so you need that, to keep you grounded in the faith in this season, especially
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's hear a voice note from Brother Arnold. So we're gonna listen to the voice note and get your perspective on it as well, Horace.
Yes.
Good afternoon and greetings to your panel discussion here. Let me say something here. What about the scripture we say better to marry more than to burn? Some men, some women, they don't want to marry, but yet them are burn. And at the same time again, some during Christendom, then we still have the sex and then we still kiss, hug and kiss. What you think about that? Being sincerity. And Paul said, and one of the verse of the Bible says, two better than one. So how you figure out that? My brethren, yes, if you're sincere, sincerity and godly fear, yes, it is good. But what about when you keep burning? And you burn, and you feel sorry? When you go among your third sister, when you go among your third brother, or you're hungry, you tell you hold on and you refuse. You might not do the actual thing, but what about kissing?
Okay.
If you have God is still doing, some now are married, but at the same time, they must kiss.
Well, that was the voice from
Arnold.
Brother Arnold. Yeah, thanks, Brother Arnold, for that. So, Horace, better to be married than to burn, and he's saying, but some of the women might be burning, but them not getting married. But it look like them doing some things, you know. How you deal with that?
Well, that speaks to their yeah. I follow the advice of the word, you know, because you go marry, you know, than being burning, you know, in the church, you know, because when you get yourself into fornication, as I put it in church, you know, sex outside of marriage, you end up in some wicked situation, you know, right? You end up soul tied, right, with people, right, and things control you. All right, rather you control, you're out of self-control, right? You get tied up. So if you're burning, like what Paul says, you know, go get some counseling, you know, and you know, book some premarital, you know, find a wife, as the Bible says, you know, find a wife and get married, because the ratio in the church these days, and it seems like it doesn't matter which church, you know, what's the name church. The ratio is usually greater for the men to find a wife in a church, you know. But again, back to the point of what Brother Arnold was making, I caution those guys who are in church and playing the field same way. I caution you, you know, don't play with God. Really and truly, don't play with God, because you're hurting God's princesses, all right? So be careful what you do, you know. If you're in the church and playing the field, repent. Simply that. Repent. But as come back to Brother Arnold's point, if you are burning, you know, and that is the desire of your heart, you know, the Lord is not a taskmaster where He's going to hold it out against you, you know, or you have to beat yourself. The Lord wants you to serve Him with wholeheartedness. So if you are burning, find a wife, right? Get some counseling though. Premarital counseling is always well advised, you know. Get some premarital counseling. But another thing it speaks to as well, too, you know, what are you feeding on, right? Because if you're feeding on gasoline, you're going to burn, you know. So be careful of the material that you're feeding on, all right? Water without fire, you know. So the water is the word of God. So you have to be careful what you're feeding on as well, too. But if the Lord says, all right, this is your season, you know, to get married, then follow the Lord. Really and truly follow the Lord. So it's only practical advice I can give man at this time.
Thank you, Horace. For men who are single Christian and they have, as it were, the goal, like their main objective is to be married. Is something wrong with that? Like a man, his main goal is to be married. Should his main goal to be married or his main goal is to fulfill purpose? And is there a difference? Because sometimes I get it that some men think that if they don't get married, then they wouldn't have fulfilled purpose or they wouldn't have done things, you know. What's your take on that?
If you put it like that, Kevin, I believe that you fulfill your purpose first, right? Being married could be a fulfillment of your purpose as well, you know, because maybe God wanted to raise up a godly heritage, you know. But you have to know your purpose first, because when you bring your purpose, what happens? You're perpetuating God's will and plan, not just for you, but for the next generation, you know. There are things that David did and he never get to complete it, but Solomon completed it through him, you know. So you have to know what God wants for you in this season. And I go back again to, you know, that if a man, if it is a desire, the Lord will provide the way as well too for him. The Lord will, you know, and, you know, it might sound cliche to trust in the Lord, you know, with your whole heart, you know, and the Lord will indeed give you the desires of your heart, you know. So, but the approach, all right, we have to talk to a counselor like Kevin, you know, and get guidance, you know, how to, you know, fulfill God's purpose for your life. But I believe purpose is paramount. You're bringing something into a relationship that is, you know, I believe a lot of women like men who know themselves, right? I've heard other sisters complain about the narcissistic behavior of men who, you know, they're all about what they want, you know, and not what they bring to the table or bring to the relationship. You know, it's what I want, you know. I want a certain girl, a certain size, you know. Even see some people stick on the back of them car, you know. I can't even repeat some of them, you know, but you have to know what you are about. And I think it's even better when you bring that to a relationship. When you bring that into your courtship, you have a greater fulfillment or greater input into that relationship. You know? A woman will trust you more. A woman want a man who them can trust and feel secure. Yes, sir. So that.
Yeah, so we're almost out of time. Yeah, Courtney.
Time gone. Yes, sir.
So
time is gone. Just want to share with you JAMSAG President Project topic: Men and Intimate Relationship, Effective Communication, happening Thursday, May 28th at 6 p.m. And guess who? We have a moderator, Mr. Randolph Richards, but guess who is the presenter? His name is one Kevin Bailey. So that's 2026. Topic: Men and Intimate Relationship. I'm trying to see where it is being held, but Zoom admission free. So it's being held by Zoom. So when that information comes, Zoom, I'm certain it will be shared.
I'll listen out for that one.
In 30 seconds, Chris, just, oh my goodness, it's not even 30 seconds, it have to be 10. As it's 6:29, I gotta go. So it's our pleasure sharing with you and having you share with us. So thanks to Jermaine Johnson, our producer, Nikki Angus, our technical support, and to Mr. Horace Palmer, who was our special guest, a trained mentor and resource person at Transform Life Church. We end the program with this quote: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Jeremiah 29, verse 11. What great words to end with.
That's it for our show this week. Catch you next week on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Same place, same time, inside the mailbox, as we say. Monday.
Yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man. Hey man.
You're to the Family Radio in Jamaica by Love 101 FM. The time is now 6:30, and so it's that time of day for us to